We're down to 93 now. Darn, it's gonna get cold out there. I have to get out the long john soon.
It was over 100. It was over 100 when I was messing around with the first car.
Yeah, no, it was 102 when I looked before. So it's gotten cooler.
Hey friends, I'm Henry.
And I'm Irene.
You're watching BrainStormAcres and I'm one tired puppy.
Yeah, he's been to town twice today. On a mission.
First trip was a flat tire.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed the tire on the Subaru was flat last night, and we looked at it and we're like, tomorrow morning we'll take care of this. So we got it up and...
Well, I went out this morning and looked at it, and while Irene was busy doing some things in the truck, because we still have to get ready for our big trip.
Yeah,
you know, the calendar doesn't wait for anything. Doesn't wait for flat tires. It doesn't wait for
100-degree weather,
missing parts, anything else like that.
Excuse me. My throat's a tea this afternoon. Probably the dust.
No, thank you.
It's cold.
No,
It just came out of the freezer.
Well, in any case, I took the tire off of the Subaru. I had to use an impact wrench, which fortunately we have. We have a small pancake compressor. It worked fine. I jacked it up, and it was a real trick trying to find where to jack it up because my bifocals don't focus at the right area.
I bought him a new set, but he hasn't really worked with them yet.
Yeah, they're progressives, and I can use them. It's going to take some practice because of the car accident 5.5 years ago. I have some limited mobility of my neck. So I couldn't see. Irene came out to help me, and
we crawled around on the gravel. That was fun.
Yeah, I told her to bring a kneeling pad because it's not fun.
No. And the set of instructions on the jack was like, and I'm like, I can't believe they actually expect you to do that.
Well, I can believe it, but...
So I went to the owner's manual instead, and they had a different set of instructions. And based on the scratches on the bottom of the car, that's how people had done it before. So,
so we went ahead and jacked the car up, which was good. Pulled the tire off, put it in the back of the Rover.
There was a nail. There was definitively a nail.
There was a nail in it, and I took it into town and took it to the tire guy that I know. He's been doing tires
forever,
all of his life, probably 30, 40 years.
Oh, at least.
And he said, I don't think I can patch this, but I'll give it a try. He pulled the nail out, deflated the tire, and tried to plug it because he said, I know I'm not going to be able to patch it.
Right.
So he tried to plug it. And the problem was the tire itself split more once he tried to plug it. Well, it's not as old as it could be, but it's old enough, and it split.
Well, tires have a much shorter life expectancy in our area because of the heat and the UV.
So, so I loaded that back up into the Rover and brought it back home and put the spare on because what I really wanted to do was get that tire fixed, and then early this week I wanted to go ahead and get it in to get some new tires on it because I know that it needs tires.
Right, right. Well, and the tires that are on it don't have an aggressive tread, and you need an aggressive tread, and you need the extra... The range. We need the extra range here on your tires that have the sturdier sidewalls because of the rough roads.
Well, so I got back home and Irene looked at the Rover and said,
do you realize you have stuff in the back tire?
No, I didn't.
Right.
So...
After we fixed the Subaru.
I put everything back into the Subaru, and Irene marked the sidewall of the Rover, and I went back to town.
Yeah, I got some chalk out, and I'm like, okay, I'll mark the 2 spots for it, because I spotted one thing, and I was like, there's a piece of copper in there. And then I looked at the rest of the tire and I could see another spot that looks like a piece of a nail. So I was like, okay, I'll mark those 2 spots real good, and kissed him goodbye and sent him to town again. And I did dishes and other fun things like that.
Well, mind you that I was supposed to be loading more of the truck this morning because we were successful in selling an old tent that we wanted to sell. It's going to be delivered to the new owner when we get to Pennsylvania. But
we had put it, and you had put it in the front of the truck because we didn't expect necessarily to have to deliver it instantly. Well, it turns out the person that I sold it to, because, you know, I don't really like ask for qualifications when somebody buys a pavilion. It's like, you have money that you want to hand me? Okay, put it in my PayPal account.
it turns out we know them, by the way.
Right, we do. She probably doesn't know us by name, but we definitely know her main artist, for sure. But it's a merchant, so they're going to let their employees use it, which means they need it right away. So instead of figuring if it was a regular person that we were selling it to, they probably wouldn't need it for at least 2 or 3 days, which means we could put it in the front of the truck, get all our junk out first, and then be it there. No, they need it right away.
Yeah, not going to work. So that means that all of the stuff that I put in the truck has to come out.
Right. So first thing this morning, when it was cooler, i.e. only 92, in the shade, which there isn't any out there, I got that stuff unloaded while you were working on the tire, and then I moved it towards the back of the truck, and I repacked the front, and then I continued packing boxes in the house while you were doing this other stuff, and
so
loaded those in.
The whole trick here is that we have to get all of those large totes into the truck before I can arrange anything that comes in the middle of the truck. So it's got to go in.
Right. So and we do it partially based on weight, because we want it centered in the middle of the truck as much as possible, and partially based on how soon we need it. So, for instance, a box of clothes that are one of those things we take everywhere with us, that's just in case it gets cold while we're there, because we're close enough to Canada, it can get cold sometimes if a front comes down or something. That can go in the very front, because we'll have regular clothes and sweatshirts with us, so we're not concerned about that. But then there's things that have to be right close to the back, like snacks for the road, because you can put yourself in the poorhouse paying for snacks and drinks along the road. But,
absolutely.
So we'll keep a cooler in the back with ice, and and some places you can't buy Coca-Cola, which is always fun, because Henry doesn't drink Pepsi, and just trying to we like a specific varieties of water because it's the same. They have certain standards to the water when they bottle it, so the mineral content will be the same. And when you're traveling, varying mineral content in various locations can really screw up your digestive tract.
Yeah, so I drink Diet Coke for a very specific reason. It's one of the things I use to help control my migraines. I never had migraines. I never had a headache before the accident. And since the accident, there's some times when I need to take some specific steps to curb the migraine from happening.
Some places in the United States, it's hard to get Coca-Cola. It'll be a Pepsi town. And back when I used to drink soda, which I don't anymore, Pepsi was just disgusting to me. It was too sweet.
Yeah, so I'm not wanting to hammer anybody's particular preferences in cola beverages. I can drink the Diet Coke. I can't drink the Diet Pepsi, and we won't go into why, but there's some reasons why I can't drink the Diet Pepsi.
Just because, one of the things we learned a long time ago is just because the ingredient list is the same on 2 different products doesn't mean the actual ingredients included are the same. And people who have allergies find that out really soon, because one of our friends who is deathly allergic to like cornstarch and stuff like that just found the hard way that Hillshire Farms used cornstarch to coat their conveyor belts to keep the sausages from sticking. Well, that's great. She is really deathly sensitive to it. And man, did she get sick. And there's certain websites, and I'm not tuned into it because I'm not that sensitive to stuff, but there are websites out there that you can find that will tell you things like that. But it's your job to track it down. They don't tell you because it's not an ingredient. It's just something that winds up on the outside. So
Well,
it's not an ingredient. But if you're sensitive to it, geez.
so let's get back to tires.
Yeah.
So Irene doesn't know. I haven't told her
Yeah,
yet.
I said, so how'd the tire come out? And how'd the we always tease one of the guys there doesn't talk much. And I'm like, did Robert say more than 3 words? He goes, yes. I'm like, uh-oh.
He said a lot more than 3 words, and he and another fellow spent probably 20 minutes trying to get the thing that was stuck in the tire out of the tire.
Right.
Would you like to know what was stuck in the tire?
Sure.
Some days things just don't seem to go right. Today I had to get up and start messing with a flat tire on one of our vehicles. I took it off the car. It was a bunch of work. Brought it into town. Can't be repaired. Went back home. Irene noticed I have at least 1 nail in one of our tires on the Rover. So back into town. Well, hopefully this one can be repaired. The last one wasn't. It was a 5/16 inch diameter screw. It looks like it's a screw that goes onto a leg of a table.
Okay, one of the really heavy-duty ones that you pull the whole table together, basically.
Exactly, and the problem is it didn't actually puncture into the tire.
Oh, good.
Yeah, well, that's what you would think. Oh, good.
Uh-huh.
But it actually made a hole in the tread,
Right.
going across the tread.
Uh-huh.
That's probably 3 inches long.
Okay.
And the problem with that is that tire is going to fail.
Yes, it will.
So now instead of having to buy tires for one vehicle, only one vehicle,
Uh-huh.
I now get to go buy tires for 2 vehicles.
Right. What about the other nail?
It wasn't actually sticking in.
Okay. Sometimes you can't tell, but the tires on the Rover have very thick tread because they're heavy-duty mud and snow tires. So sometimes, if you're lucky, it'll be a tack or something, and it's not even all the way into the tire.
Well, so now I get to figure out if I can get one new tire for the Rover because it's an all-wheel drive all the time vehicle.
Right.
The problem with that is if you end up with 2 different sized tires, it's going to cause slippage in the
Right.
mechanism, which will create heat, which can lead to all other kinds of problems. So,
Right. You can break your car, basically.
so as soon as we're done here with this little bit of show footage, I get to go look to see what the actual allowable difference is between tire sizes on the Rover. It's going to take some effort, but I'm going to go do it because those tires are expensive. They're about $300 a piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd rather not be spending $1,300 for tires and
Right this
mounting
second.
balance.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, if we had to, we can wait till we get back from Pennsylvania and just drive the Subaru once we have 4 new tires on that one. At least we were excited to find that the spare, because it's got a full-size spare. It's not one of these things that gives you those stupid donuts. You know, it's an old enough car that they actually gave you real spares. The spare is actually appears to be in good condition, and it's a more aggressive tread than the existing tires. We knew that the existing tires, they were going to need to be replaced.
They're ordinary street tires, and they're
Street tires don't last out
And they're a
here.
little bit on the old side, which means that there was a little bit of sidewall checking, not very much. But when I looked at the tires, I could see some cracks
Right.
in the face of the tire. That's not a good thing. So I knew I was going to have to replace them. It's a matter of
When.
exactly when.
Right.
And when is now.
Yeah, because we need to have at least one car that runs.
They all run. They just may not want to be driven.
Well, I mean, you know, like I don't want to drive the dually anywhere because it sucks gas terribly,
Yeah,
and it's
7
like
miles-
driving a tank. I mean,
7 miles per gallon.
and I used to drive it all the time, but it's no
Not
good.
at, not at $5 a gallon.
Not at $5 a gallon, and it's not good on mud. And we might, if it ever does rain like they're promising us, have mud next week.
We'll see.
Yeah, well, It's been giving us lots of cloudy days, but it hasn't, which helps because it does cool it down a little bit.
In the meantime, I was getting ready to go into town. It's been over 100 degrees an awful lot of the day when we've been messing around out there with all these different things. Changing tires and taking them into town and all that is not something I really wanted to be doing in the heat. I don't mind moving boxes and doing it in 20-minute or half an hour bursts. That's not a big problem. But when I get ready to go into town, I told Irene, start the generator and run the air conditioner.
You run the AC in the bedroom. The problem is it's not cooling down enough at night that you can sleep comfortably.
It's going to be about 70 degrees tonight,
Yeah.
which is not going to be fun.
You know, you just can't get enough of a breeze in the bedroom to make it really comfortable to sleep at that temperature.
So far in the last 2 weeks, I've wasted 1 full week of driving
Yeah.
because this happened, that happened, now tires and all manner of things. And today was supposed to be getting the truck mostly set for the trip. Didn't happen.
I did make a pretty good dent in it, and I got more boxes packed and got them out there too. So we're not in as bad a condition as we could, but man, I had to do it in short spurts and take breaks in between with lots of water because it was nasty out there.
Speaking of water, now I'm ready to go get some.
Makes sense.
Say goodbye, Irene.
Oh, well, as you can tell, we've been very busy lately, so be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because obviously there will be lots more going on.
Like I'm going to be buying a set of tires.
At least, well, probably one set now and another set later.
We may buy 2 before we leave.
Mostly.
And we're leaving pretty quick, and that's not what I want to be doing.
No. No fun. So, until next time, bye.
Bye. Keep brainstorming. I don't know how to brainstorm a puncture that goes in the side of the tire, in the tread, that makes all those layers start coming apart.
Right.
Don't know how to brainstorm that, but we're going to see what we can do.
Yeah, well, I think it's called you buy a new tire.
That's a good brainstorm.
Yeah.